Hi everybody, welcome to BrickVault. I'm Keith, and today we're going to be reviewing a brand new LEGO set, the Star Wars Rebel Ewing Fighter. The set is recommended for ages 8 to 14. It's number 75155, and it comes in at 659 pieces. It has 5 minifigs in total: Bistan, Rebel Trooper, Ewing Pilot, Cassie and Endor, and Jyn Erso. The set looks huge and exciting with the 4 quad engines in the back and also the cargo hold underneath the craft itself. So it looks like we have 5 bags in total here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as well as a giant manual that has a small collection of stickers. So with all of this in front of me, let's get started. Alright, so the build is complete for this set. Let's take a closer look at the minifigs. Out of the 5 minifigs that we have in total here, it appears that each and every one of them is an exclusive to this set. But first, let's start off with our main protagonist, Jyn Erso. Turning her all around, the minifig itself looks really great, and zooming in on the front torso section, the printing for the fabric looks very realistic, both with the shirt underneath and also the vest on the front. And spinning her around to her backside, we can see the continuation of that vest that we saw from the front. And when we look at her pants, they are in the simple black mold. And when we move up closer to Jyn's helmet, we can see that it bears a lot of similarities to the Hoth Trooper helmet. And in total, Jyn has 2 separate facial expressions. The first one looking calm and poised, while the second one is angry and determined. And then taking a look at all of her accessories, starting with a simple piece of cloth that looks really nice, we can also see a brown satchel leaning off the side of the minifig. And then lastly, Jyn comes with 2 separate weapons, the first one looking like a blaster pistol, and the second one looking like some kind of a rocket launcher. For our next minifig, we have Cassie and Endor. Looking all around the minifig, the appearance of this thermal jacket looks really great. When we move in on his center torso section, that fold going up the center of the jacket is really nice. And then looking downward at the printing on his pants, we can see the continuation of that thermal jacket. And spinning him around to his other side, we can see the loose fabric of his jacket as well as the start of his furry hood. And moving up to Cassian's face, he has this decent looking hairpiece, along with 2 separate facial expressions. The first is more serious, while the other side appears to be more cocky. On to our next minifig, we have Bistan. Turning him all around, that mold for the head is really great. And even when we move in onto his front torso section, we can see that the level of detailing is pretty high, especially with all of the belts and clips going on near the neck and also the sides of the torso. And when we move down closer to his pants, we can see the continuation of that belt. Turning Bistan around, the printing for his jacket has got to be some of the best that I've ever seen done for a minifig. And when we move up to this single piece mold for his head, we can see that metal bracing going along his neck, along with all of the lines and things like that that create the jowls and basic structure of his face. And although Bistan doesn't come with a hairpiece to put on top, we can see the printing for this black and parting hair. And the lone accessory that he does come with is another gunmetal short blaster rifle. On to our next minifig, we have the Ewing Pilot. Basically, my first impressions when spinning him around is that I really do like that dark navy blue that we're seeing for his suit. When we zoom in on his front torso section, it does have a lot of similarities to other pilots that we've seen for X-Wings, Y-Wings, and Snowspeeders in the past, with the exception of having that new color for the mold. Turning this pilot over to his other side, the loose fabric that we can see, as well as the continuation of that white padded vest, looks very nice. Moving upwards so that we can check out his awesome helmet, I do like the dual checkerboard checkerboard pattern that we're seeing that looks very similar to Big Starklighter's helmet. The facial expressions for this particular pilot aren't anything different than what we've seen in the past. This pilot still has that similar orange visor, which is very iconic looking, and his first facial expression is a look of excitement, while the other one is a look of panic. And this pilot does in fact come with his own accessory, a small blaster pistol. On to our last minifig, we have a new Rebel Trooper, and looking around this trooper, it has a very similar feel to that of an Endor trooper. Just looking at the front torso section itself, we can see that the combination of that darker green, the lighter green, and the dark brown going across for that shoulder section all create a very forest-like look. Spinning him around, we can see what is a loose hood dragging over to the side of his shoulder, as well as what could be the continuation of his ammo belt. And now with that covered, let's look up closer to check out that helmet. This newer Rebel Trooper helmet has more of a square shape going at the top of it, instead of having that classic rounded shape that we might be familiar with from episode 5. And unfortunately, this is the only facial expression that this Rebel Trooper comes with. Alright, so with all of the minifigs covered, let's take a look at that awesome Rebel Ewing fighter. Now I have to admit that when I first saw this fighter, I thought it was a bit wonky, but that was before I saw the full back action of these wings. Before I saw that particular feature in this set, I thought that the collection of the 4 engines towards the back looked a bit oversized and out of place. But having folded these wings back already, I've got to say that I could not have been more wrong. And while we're still focused here on the back section of this vehicle, I want to take a real quick look at that Hyperdrive unit in the center. I did like the use of that Wolverine claw in the center, as well as that souped up engine piece that we can see closer to the front. It just makes the Hyperdrive unit itself look really great. And then working our way towards the front of the craft, I really love the mold for this cockpit. Opening it up, we can see this simple brown pilot seat in the center, as well as a 1x2 cheese wedge that's used for a control panel, and empty space in front of the seat so the pilot can talk down to the crew members below, or maybe just to have a better view of the ground as the pilot is landing. But really, one of the best features of this entire set is at the very frontmost portion of the ship. Here we can see these really cool laser cannons sticking out the front, and when we press down on these 2 button sections here, they launch out a pair of red lasers. I did like how smooth the appearance of these 2 buttons were, and it didn't feel like it interrupted the look of the craft in any way whatsoever. Taking a look at the underside of this fighter, I noticed for the first time ever on this ship, this awesome huge windshield that we can see sticking out the front of this cargo unit. In fact, speaking of the cargo unit, there are a pair of these armored doors to the side of it that when opened we can see plenty of space for any Rebel troopers inside, as well as a pair of posable gun turrets to provide covering fire for any minifigs landing from the craft itself. And then finally checking out the backside here, these 1x2 grate pieces make for a really good look for the hyperdrive ventilation. And we can also see those transparent cone pieces for the engine's afterburner. So in summary, I'm just really impressed with this fighter overall. The color scheme looked really great with the white, yellow, and blue found throughout, and this craft does strike me as being perfect for a quick insertion operation, and is the ideal craft for all of these Rebel troopers. Alright, so that is it for this video, and if you enjoyed this content, you can always leave a like or subscribe, and I've left a link below in the description if you would like to purchase this set. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again here at BrickVault.